This is probably the most important thing that a beginning remote viewer needs to do. And it's really short, so you can just easily make it into a poster for your wall. It's describe, don't name.
Wait, is remote viewing just cold reading?
It's like, here's a pen. I immediately identify it as a pen. Try not doing that for a while. Try not using nouns. Kind of long, it's cylindrical, it's hollow.
Oh my god, remote viewing is just cold reading, and I'm only realizing that now. I'm a failure.
So I'm gonna give you my ring, but I want you, don't go straight to that location. Just kind of walk around first. Just walk around. You don't have to do it you don't have to put this in the beginning, you don't have to put it at the end, you can do it in the middle, but I want you to just kind of walk around the place before you commit to this true random location. And then when you're done, you come back.
Okay.
You got it? And I'm gonna try to remote view what you're doing inside.
Okay, wait, before we continue, let's clear some things up. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome to Magic Isn't Real, the place where I try to replicate the claims of the supernatural with my very natural skills. I usually don't do this, but you should go check out my remote viewing challenge video first before you watch this one. I'm not trying to get views, I'm not trying to trick you into watch more content of mine. It's just that this is a sequel, like a direct sequel of that video. So things might get confusing if you don't watch that one first. There's a link down below, go check this video, and in the meantime, I'll wait for you until you're done. Oh, great, you're back. As you probably saw in my other video, I did a demonstration of remote viewing, but as I mentioned, something happened that literally blew my mind. In order for me to explain what happened, I have to do like a breakdown on how this trick works. Now, some magician friend of mine actually thought that I did this trick by using a technique called cold reading. This technique is used by a lot of mentalists and magicians and performers, as well as a lot of psychics, or as I call them, fraudsters. Cold reading involves getting information from a person by reading their body language while simultaneously throwing around highly probable guesses, starting really vague and then slowly narrow it down to the point that it looks like you have picked up the information with the power of your mind, when in reality the spectator or the sucker, the person you chose, has actually given you the information. The thing is, that's not how I did it. For two reasons. Number one, I suck at cold reading. Number two, it didn't even occur to me that you could use this technique to pretend to do a remote viewing session. Maybe it's because cold reading is supposed to happen live. I ask you a question, you answer, it's kind of like a back and forward, and then you narrow it down. While with remote viewing, technically you have to give your prediction prior to the reveal. But don't worry, I'll talk about that. So for me to guess correctly where she was gonna put that ring, I just simply use a force.
We'll use the force.
So a force is when a magician makes you believe that you have a completely free choice when in reality you don't. I'm literally forcing you to pick a location. I'm not gonna reveal to you right now how I did the force because that's a tutorial that's gonna go on my Patreon page. All you need to know is that the force did not work.
That's not how the force works.
She did not put the ring where I wanted her to put the ring. She actually had a free choice, and yet I still guessed correctly. So how did that happen? As you saw, I sent her to put the ring in a true random location. Now that's just the terminology I have to use in order for the force to work. Don't worry about it, you're gonna learn it on my Patreon page. And I also ask her to walk around so that I can draw more things and pretend that I'm following her with my mind, which I think is a great subtlety for this trick. Again, you're gonna learn all about it on my Patreon page. Now, in my head, at this moment, everything is going according to plan. And the plan is that she's gonna put the ring next to the beer on tap. And the beer on tap that they have at this restaurant is called Stella, which is why I did this.
I'm sensing I'm getting like a star.
Thinking like an entertainer, I wrote this trick to kind of be this sort of like, oh, I'm saying star, nothing matches with the star, so it looks like I fail until someone makes the star-Stella connection. Oh, he's talking about the beer on tap. It's a thing that we magicians do all the time. We pretend to fail. We pretend that the trick has gone wrong so that the reveal can be even more spectacular. It's just like entertainment 101. You want to bring the audience on a roller coaster, and this is how I wanted this trick to go. This is how I wrote this trick. Now, watch what happens when she comes back, and tell me if you can spot the moment that I realize that something went horribly wrong.
I see you don't have my ring anymore.
Yeah.
Did you walk around the whole place? Like, you didn't go upstairs, right? But you passed by the stairs. So you definitely passed by the stairs, you didn't go upstairs. And then I drew this looks like a toilet. So you passed by the bathroom right after. Oh, wow, okay. Then I went back around to what I think is like kind of tables and chairs. So I thought was like the dining room here. But there's this thing that came out suddenly, which is a star. I don't know, is this something shaped like a star? So did you put it next to something that's like shaped like a star? Does this star mean anything? Okay, tell me where you put the ring at this point.
It's in the dining room, on the mirror.
It's in the dining room,
Yeah,
on the
on
mirror.
the mirror shelf.
On the mirror shelf.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
At this moment, in my head, I just know that the trick did not work. But for some reason, instead of like having a laugh and calling it off, just cut the camera, we need to redo this whole thing again, it didn't work, it's fine, we're not live, it's not a live show, let's do it again. Instead, I don't know what possessed my brain to just keep on going. Basically, what I started thinking is, I know where she put the ring, because she said that she put the ring in the dining area by the fireplace. And I know because I walked into this place like before and so I know that they have a lot of crap. No offense to the owners of the restaurant, but there's candles, like different shaped candles, statues, all sorts of decoration. They got books, they got paintings in the wall. Like there's a lot of stuff in that room. And if you think about it, a star is just a shape. It's just like two triangles together. So I thought maybe there's a way that I can just bullshit this whole thing and still make this trick work. So I decided to keep on going. And when I walked into the dining area and I saw where she put the ring, my mind was, I couldn't believe it. Just. So, you passed the bar, as I said, as I thought it was the bar area, which is over there. But then I got this feeling of a star. And this is the thing about remote viewing, is that stuff is really vague and you have to like kind of interpret it. But the thing is that you put it next to, like, this is a famous actress, right? When I saw that ring was under a picture of Kate Moss and I immediately made the Hollywood star connection, I was like, first of all, I didn't know that picture was there. And even if I knew, I would have never come up with such a good reveal. Some people after watching that video, they complimented me. That reveal was so creative. Like, how did you come up with like that idea? The star and the whole, the star shape and the Hollywood star. Like, you're so creative. And I'm like, no, I'm not. That was the craziest coincidence ever. Or was it? My partner was behind the camera recording and she knew what the location was supposed to be. She knew that the ring was supposed to end up next to the beer on tap machine, which actually, if you go watch the previous video, you will see it in the second demonstration how it was supposed to go. But the funniest thing is that she was also shocked to see the ring by the Kate Moss picture. And the moment we stopped recording, she looked at me and she was like, "Did you just remote view for real?" Obviously, I did not. But for a second, I was literally doubting myself. I was like, did something kind of supernatural just happen? Like, should I go and play the lottery right now because I am manifesting things the way I want them to happen for me to be successful? Like every guru says you should do, and every guru says this is how it works. You just manifest your success. Like, I was literally thinking, what has happened? And then after a few seconds, I immediately came back down to earth. And I realized that the only thing I'm manifesting is pure chance by playing the odds. If you watch the second demonstration, you will see that I couldn't use the word star anymore because I used it in the first performance. So I decided the force was still going to be by the beer on tap machine. Now, I knew that the machine was broken. So instead of saying star, I started saying something like, I'm feeling a sense of brokenness. Brokenness? Brokenness? Doesn't matter. I start saying stuff like, I sense that something is broken. Now, let's say that I was doing this in the first performance. So she would have missed the force. And instead of putting the ring by the beer on top machine, she would have put the ring where she put it, by those books, right? You don't see it on camera, unfortunately, but believe me, those books were completely destroyed. Like, I tried to lift them up to get a better shot of Kate Moss, and like, they just fell apart. Those books are completely broken, which means I could have still bullshit my way out of that trick by simply using the word broke. Hey, but what would you have done if there was no picture of Kate Moss? Oh, thanks for asking the hard questions. Yes, good point. If there was no picture of Kate Moss, and I would have still said star because I wanted the ring to end up by the Stella machine, what would have happened? Nothing. Unfortunately, like nothing. Like I looked around the room after just to check. Kate Moss was the only thing that could, fit the description of star in that room, which means that without that picture, it wouldn't have worked. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't that like a crazy coincidence? Like, shouldn't you be a little bit suspicious that maybe something not of this world has happened in that moment? Well, sure. If this is what you're looking for, if what you're looking for is something magical, something supernatural, something that your consciousness has manifested, then sure, it might look like that's kind of what happened. But if you look at it from my perspective and you kind of step back, you realize that if something magical has happened, then every time someone wins something at a casino, let's say they go to a roulette and they bet on black or on a number and then they win, then something magical has happened as well that time. If you break it down, all I did was straight up place a bet and winning that bet. If you think about it, this is not even that crazy of a gamble. It's not like I bet on one number. I basically bet that in a room full of things, there might be something that fits the description of a star. That's like betting at the roulette on like red and black and a bunch of numbers. The odds that you're gonna land on one of these numbers, or the odds that you're gonna land on a black or red, are very high. It's not that impossible. And you're probably thinking right now, but isn't it crazy that it happened exactly at the time when you were recording this? No, it's not, because it couldn't have happened at any other time. You know what I mean? Like, you win or lose a bet when you place the bet. It happens when it's supposed to happen, which is when you are playing the odds. You're either gonna win or lose. It's not impossible.
Yes, science! Okay.
Now, I know that calling remote viewing fake, it's a very sensitive topic for some of you, but here's the thing. If I got star correctly in one afternoon for this YouTube channel, imagine what I could do in 20 years with like $1 million budget at my disposal. Cause here's the best part. I got the star prediction correctly as a mistake. But imagine if I would have to use the technique suggested by the so-called real remote viewers. As a matter of fact, let's hear it from John Cook, director of the International Remote Viewing Association.
This is probably the most important thing that a beginning remote viewer needs to do. And it's really short, so you can just easily make it into a poster for your wall. It's describe, don't name. Not using nouns. It's hard. It's kind of long. It's cylindrical. It's hollow. It could be that I'm working a target in remote viewing that is a pen. Could be that I'm working a target in my remote viewing that is a subway car or a subway tunnel.
From a pen to a subway tunnel. That covers everything. I mean, if you can set that up, then all you gotta do after is just some good old-fashioned cold reading and you'll be fine. Check this out. Look. He said it's long, cylindrical, and hollow, right? Where did she put the ring? She put the ring at a fireplace. Describe a fireplace. Long, cylindrical, hollow, that's fine. Actually, let's say my first word, all right? How does the beer on top machine kind of looks like? If you look at it, it's also long, cylindrical, and hollow. I mean, she could have put the ring somewhere in the hallway. Hallway, by definition, is long, cylindrical, and hollow. Damn, even the toilet fits this description. She could have put the ring anywhere in the restaurants, and the description long, cylindrical, and hollow would fit perfectly. You get what I'm going with this. Listen, even if you believe in this ability, at this point, you gotta see that there's something suspicious about it. You gotta see that this method is a little bit suspicious. This like, describe, don't name. If you describe and don't name, and then you get to analyze what's going on after, you can make anything work, whether you're doing it on purpose or not. And by the way, this is a clip from a video called I Tried to Master Remote Viewing from I think it's BuzzFeed or something. You can go check out this video in its entirety and you can see what they're doing in this video. But there's one more thing that I just want to react to.
If you're skeptical about remote viewing or just interested in it, John said something that continues to stick with me.
Just keep in mind that it's all impossible anyway. So if you can do it some of the time, that's pretty good.
What?
Just play the stupid clip. Just play the, you know which clip. Just play that clip.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Okay, so obviously at this point in this video, there is one question that needs to be asked. What about when the remote viewer guesses correctly without the possibility of like interpreting what they guessed after they see the location, or after they see where they put the ring, or after they see whatever, the picture or the coordinates? Like, what about when they guess correctly without any room to do any cold reading or to any room to interpret what they said or what they draw? Well, the thing is, how many times has that actually happened? Because a broken clock is right twice a day, but also even amongst like the expert of remote viewing, I always see that they have a little space to interpret what they draw or what they describe. I mean, let me show you a clip from How to Be a Psychic Spy, a special from Darren Brown, where he challenged a remote viewer to guess where this woman was going or staying in the entire city of London. So it's a great challenge, and let's see how this guy did.
Neither Dr. Carr nor I have any idea where Lauren is, and now that she's arrived, Dr. Carr will attempt to see through her eyes and discover her location. To do this, he begins a process of filling out over 100 pages of information with drawings and words that he believes he's receiving from Lauren.
100 sheets of paper. If a broken clock is right twice a day, imagine 100 broken clocks. So I guess the real question would be, how did he pick the right drawing then? Or better question, when did he pick the right drawing?
So first of all, the picture that he showed at the end, he actually showed about five pictures in the end he came up with, and they were all fairly ambiguous, and you can draw your own conclusions from that. And the one picture he did pick out there, which was this one, kind of looks maybe a little bit like the fountain, but of course he focused on that one after Lauren had told him what it was that she was looking at.
Ah, that's convenient. He only picked it after, just like I picked, the Kate Moss star reveal after I saw what the ring was. But okay, what about the description though? He was being very specific with the descriptions, right? Right, Darren?
And when you go back over the hour and a half and pull out all the specific descriptions that he said, you realize that it kind of covers everything.
Alright, and there you have it. I honestly now think that remote viewing is just a slightly adjusted form of cold reading connected to a series of lucky guesses like a bet at a casino. And the thing that scares me the most when I say this out loud right now on this channel is that I have a feeling that just like the people who believe they have telekinesis power because they can make a side wheel move, I have a feeling that the people who believe they have remote viewing powers, who actually believe they have remote viewing powers, are not maybe realizing that that's what you're doing. You're being vague, you're describing, not naming, and then you're trying to match all the things that you have described after you get the reveal, and you're focusing on all the hits, disregarding the misses completely. And now that's it. You have this ability, or you're fooling yourself into thinking that you have this ability when in reality, you don't. But hey, this is just my opinion based on what I just experienced and the research I've done. But you know what? You can still prove me wrong. My remote viewing challenge is still open. There is a sealed deck of cards with my name on it, and it is somewhere in my apartment. And you have my consent of remote view this entire apartment and tell me exactly where that deck is. This isn't a joke. I'm so ready. I want you to do this. Now, after this video, I have to say something though. I'm not gonna give you the chance of cold read this. You're gonna have to be specific. You're gonna have to tell me exactly where that deck is. Anyway, if you're still here and you're still watching, my goodness, this is a long video, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. And if you're still watching, I just want to ask you something, just to make sure that you are still watching. I want you to write in the comment section, hot reading. Yeah, cold reading is not the only technique that we can use to pick up on things. So I want you to write hot reading, and then this is interesting. I want you to try to remote view, but like using this kind of vague technique. Like, you know, describe, don't name. Like, I just want to see how many things you're going to get correctly if you also can check it after, you know. I'm really curious. I'm going to start doing it as well. I'm going to start like checking how much I can kind of guess correctly if I describe and don't name, and then I can just kind of, you know, match things after the fact. I'm so intrigued to see how well this works as a cold reading routine. Because like if it works really well, I might add it to my show. That would be really good. And one more time, if you want to learn how I did that remote viewing demonstration, you can go to my Patreon, because I'm going to drop the tutorial very soon. So hopefully I'll see you there. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you don't mind, like, sharing, subscribing, and the whole thing, please do. And I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bam.